Hi everybody, I hope you're all having a great day so far. My morning has not been too bad. Adjust the mic a bit. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, well let's I guess just jump into it. So yesterday we finished off just about to test the networking. And actually I was a little nervous that there was going to be some huge bug, and I didn't really want to spend forever on some server side stuff, so I did a little testing off stream, but actually everything worked perfectly, so well that you can't actually connect, but I'll show you what I mean. So we'll go ahead and build a new player, and you just go to this build settings, and we'll just put it in this build folder. And it'll take a little bit to compile everything. Not too slow, but basically when you try to connect, the server tries to assign you to a slot, and the problem is that there's no slots available. So yeah, it's been something I've been needing to address for a while. I think that should be fine at first. There should be 0 slots, but there should be a way for people to join just in the lobby as like a spectator. And we won't really support spectators in game yet, but for other reasons it would be useful to be able to have players exist in the lobby that aren't really associated with a player slot. So I probably will be adding that in while we're working on this, and hopefully it won't really be too difficult. I don't think it will be. Right now we'll just assume that they never make it outside of the lobby. Is it frozen? We'll give it a bit more. I don't remember it doing this before. Okay, there it goes. Now it's doing post-processing. But when you try to connect, the server just rejects your validation and says that it has no available slots for you. So you can see that here. You'll have the second player, and it will just try to join the server. And I'll just call my username player2, and we will just have host address and I guess the password. Let's just call it bunny, and we'll just connect. And so nothing will happen here because obviously there's no host yet. But when I create a server and give it the password bunny, create, and then it says server rejected, wrong password or duplicate username. Now we both the passwords were bunny, so that's not the issue. There is, I don't remember if this is a problem, but the server won't like disconnect you at first. It waits until you get timed out, because the server has a thing where if any connection not associated with a slot, it will just disconnect you after a couple seconds. But you should check to see if that's how it should work, or if it should disconnect you immediately after rejecting you. I don't really think it matters a whole lot, but yeah, so if I try to connect, yeah, it'll reject me again, but I'm still connected for now until on disconnect after a couple seconds. Okay, so let's just look in there real quick. So what happens if accepted as false? Then we look through here to try and find an error, which is just for debugging. In fact, I could even wrap this in if debug statements. And we can look here for the debug. It says server validation fail, cannot find a slot, which is right here. There's not a password mismatch, so you don't have to worry about that. So, I guess the question is, oh yeah, so if I'm not accepted, the server doesn't really try to disconnect me right away. It just waits until the timeout, which I guess there's nothing, yeah, there's no problems with that. Okay, yeah, so well, I guess so if accepted as false, I could just say disconnect. Oh, I think the reason I don't do that is because then the client would just see that it got disconnected before it actually received this message. Yeah, so that's why I let it linger for a bit. But anyway, let's look and see how hard would it be just to have spectators. I'm just curious. I don't think we'll implement this right now. So server, and we have so how you add slots to the server is you just give it these lobby parameters, and what we would do is set some of the slot types to spectator. Yeah, because right now I have a player, an AI, and then I would just add a spectator. Okay, so right now it just would always just disconnect any non-spectator, but we would just have another thing here. Yeah, because the spectators, we don't really care about like usernames because we try to enforce the usernames so that if you're loading from a save file, you can only reconnect into a slot if you have the same username, for example. Another thing is, I would like to have like spectators watch a replay, and so in that case you would have a username. Well, maybe I'm trying to think. So if you want to watch your own replay, you would have the same usernames, but you would be. Well, I guess if it were in replay mode, it would just not let you make any input, so it wouldn't matter if you were a spectator or not, really. So yeah, we'll probably just not worry about that yet. Let me add something for the future. Spec. Well, not. Yeah, I guess I want to have spectators in play mode and replay mode, where you can rewatch a save file. So we probably won't worry about implementing that yet. Okay. But anyway, I think we are done with the create and join lobby. Or the create and join screen. The only thing I have to do is look up the format for a server address, just for validation, and then username. But I don't really want to do that right now. But yeah, so back to this. So if we just wanted to have a spectator for a lobby, that would be useful. But I guess it's not completely needed right now. So I'm trying to decide if I want to deal with it. The only time I can think of you'd really want it is if you're trying to load from a save file, but you wanted to replace one player with another player. Then what you would do is, well, I guess right now you would just wait until the other player, or until you've messed with the slot so that the other player has the same username, and then they can connect. Then I guess the question is, do we want to have better ways. Like, because right now the username, there's no validation really. You just can set your username and then somebody else could try to like take yours. But it's probably not a good idea. Like, I don't really know a way to get around that because we don't have a centralized server with like authenticated clients really. So yeah, I think we'll just have to deal with that. Well, I guess one good thing is that you don't really have to worry about trolls a whole lot because they would have to somehow get your address to connect to you. So unless... And so if you wanted to keep something secret, you could basically just only give specific people the server password and things like that, so... Yeah, so I don't... Yeah, I think I might be overthinking that. Yeah, so let's just not worry about spectators just yet, but maybe I want to keep that in mind because it will be something to add. Let's see. Guess we'll just put spectators, period. All right. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna move this crate join to the complete section, but I want to just add these to my reminders here. So lobby. Okay, I don't know what enforce username was supposed to deal with. Okay, but let's just not worry about that for now. So heading to create join lobby. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that it'll either be like an IP address or the string localhost, but we'll need to check that. This is not working on the terrain either. Form normals. Yeah, so I already updated this, so I should actually... I can move this to here for now as well. Okay, so what else? Yeah, load username from a file. So that way, like, if you've set a username, it will like automatically put in your last input. Okay, so I'm not sure what this enforce username. Maybe it was something with an old system that I've since deleted. Because I think it just arises automatically from the lobby parameters, so I don't have to do anything different. Because like if I only wanted a specific user to be able to enter a slot, I would set it to take in. Okay, so maybe is there not a way to do this? So, because it seems like you can only have taken if a certain slot has the same username, but if I wanted a specific slot to only be able to be filled by a specific user, then I would send in a username and they'd have to match. So maybe that's what I was trying to talk about, which yeah, we'll need to do that. But I'm gonna actually just make a whole new page for the lobby because this will be a pretty big project. And okay, so we'll make a couple headings. We'll have this system, and we might even want to break that up into multiple things, but Okay, so let's see what we want to implement here. Let's I guess I can look into the lobby parameters and see what the rest of the game needs from the lobby. Yeah, so we have the slot types, which is what was talking about. So yeah, if I want to have a enforce username, that basically means that whoever attaches to this slot has to match the username. So I guess I can go ahead and well, no, I shouldn't add it because it's not supported yet. But so anyway, we have that. And then we'll have, if we want to load from a save file, and then the mods and the map, and then the random seed. So the main thing are slots, save file, mods, and then other miscellaneous settings. Okay, so let's see. Save files, slots, mods, settings, and then we'll have yeah, ready button, and then of course actually just like starting the game. So in the UI, I want to have basically the same kind of thing. Oops. Okay, so I also want like a title, text, and then yeah, maybe you can name a game probably. Well, it doesn't really matter. It's not like there's a server browser. Okay, so for save files, you'd want to be able to load from a save file. And then you'd want to be able to mark as replay mode. Or let's see. Choose save file. Maybe we'll have like a mode which will be either new from or like in progress and then replay, and each of these would be different. And so if you're in new mode, you also want to be able to specify the name to save files to. Okay, instead of in progress, let's just call it resume mode, because that way. And I'm going to go ahead and support replay in the UI so that I don't have to change the system for that later. I can go ahead and plan for that because I know I will want to implement it. Might just be a little bit, it probably won't be in beta 1. And then we'll also want a warning if loading from a file, it will overwrite your settings and may disconnect players. And that's as if like, because we don't really have spectators yet. Although in the UI I'll support it, but the system won't allow you to do it. Okay, so I think this would be good. also, okay, so obviously the mode can only be set by the host, but if it's in resume, then, or I guess even replay, everybody would have to have the same file so that they can play, because we don't really transfer files across the server. Although, I guess we could let you do that. So I guess if we did that, we'd have a button to transfer a save file to another player. I mean, the save files aren't really going to be very large size, so that's not that big of a deal, I don't think. Because the save files are really just a collection of everybody's selections each turn, so it's not, yeah, they're not going to be very big. I think that'll be fine. Okay. So for slots, we'll want to have the type, which would either be player, AI, spectator, username. Yeah, so either the actual name. Well, let's see. And then we'll want to have the connected state. So the connected name, or allow the host to reserve a slot by or for a specific player. And then if you're loading from a file, you might want to be able to see a little information about that player's team. You'll want to be able to add and remove slots. You want to be able to transfer clients to different slots. Okay, so for mods, you'll have the framework. And also content mods. But I guess it. Okay. So the difference between them is that you can only have one framework mod, but you can have a bunch of different content mods. Some things in common, you'd have the display name, author, display version, and then like some icon, and then if you clicked on it, you could open up a window with a large image and a description. And then of course you want to have the selected toggle. So I need to be able to pick that. And for settings, really the only thing we have right now is the random seed. I don't know what else. We might want to have something to like adjust the turn timer. I think that will be something for sure. So no, maybe mods could add little settings here, but I don't think we'll worry about that just yet. Okay, and then yeah, a ready button, and we'll need to be able to display. I guess that would go on the slots, so yeah, a ready status. And then we'll need like a countdown. Yeah, so it's gonna be a lot. I'm trying to think. probably the best thing would be to kind of take this in chunks, and I think that doing the slots is the most important thing. So we'll get to that first, probably. I'm not really going to worry about the design of it so much because, like I said, the UI will probably change. Yeah, so let's, I guess, just get started. So let's, well, we can move it around. That'll be the best way to do this. There is a way to do a scroll area, isn't there? UI, yeah, scroll bar. In the sliding area. Let me see. Forget exactly how the scroll bar works because we'll want to be able. I'm pretty sure that the lobby is going to be larger than that will fit on one screen. In the final version, we probably want to have like a summary that you can see all at a glance, but I'm not really going to care about that right now. Probably the ready. Maybe have like the ready status up here. I don't know. It doesn't really matter for this test version because, like I said, this UI is pretty much just to make testing easier, and I'm not really gonna worry about usability a whole lot right now, or I guess prettiness, because we'll get to that soon. Or I don't know if soon, but we'll get to it at some other point. Okay, let me see. So how would I attach this? I think bar. I actually wanted to go, I guess, top to bottom. Okay, I better check and see. Unity UI scroll bar. It's, I don't want to watch a video. Okay, the scroll bar control allows user to scroll an image or other view that is too large to see completely. Note that a similar slider control is used for selecting numeric values. Oh, I see. Well, we won't need that for now. Only examples include the vertical scroll bar at the side of a text editor and the vertical and horizontal pair of bars for viewing a section, a large image or map. On value change, okay. Value of scroll bar is determined by the position of the handle along its length, with the value being reported as a fraction between the extreme ends. Okay, so that makes sense. Significant difference between the scroll bar and the slider is that the scroll bar's handle can change in size to represent the distance of scrolling available. When the view can scroll only a short way, the handles will fill up most of the bar and only allow a slight shift. Scroll bar has a single event called onValue change that responds to the drag of the handle. The current value is passed to the event function as a float. Blah blah blah. Okay, well this doesn't really tell me how to scroll an image. Okay, maybe this is what I want. Scroll rect. Scroll rect can be used when content that takes up a lot of space needs to be. Okay, I think this looks more like what I want. Combine. Oh right, a mask. Okay, I've never used a UI mask, so hopefully it won't be too difficult. So scroll view, viewport, and the content, and then we have the scroll bars. All right, so let's see. I guess we don't want that. Okay, yeah, so the scroll view, that will actually go here. Okay, so the viewport, I don't actually see the image, but okay, and I don't need a horizontal scroll bar, we'll just have a vertical one. So if I delete that, hopefully it won't go crazy. Be none. Okay, so let's see. I'm just gonna check to see if it freaks out that I deleted the horizontal scroll bar. No, it seems to work, although now I need to adjust the anchor. Okay, trying to see, mess around with these anchors. So it says 0 to 1, but it's not going all the way to the bottom. So if I change this to 20, direction bottom top size. Okay, it doesn't seem to be doing anything yet, but maybe I just need to place some data in it. Okay, so would I add something under here? So position. Okay, I guess let's watch that. What does it work? This is a height is 300. So let's just add text in here, and maybe we can see it scroll up and down. Okay, so I'll place this at the top. All right, so let's see if I scroll this, as I scroll this up and down, it becomes visible. Okay, so that does work at least, but I'm not sure why. I want to get it so that it expands to the whole size. There's got to be some way to do it. And then does it automatically, if I change this height to 200, would it? Okay, so the scroll bar does update automatically at least. Oh, I should have just, yeah, get rid of that. Okay, so maybe I messed it up already by deleting that scroll bar. Let's add it back. Okay, so yeah, I just won't want that. Okay, yeah, so there we go, that works better. Although it seems to be scrolling weirdly because this text is at the top, isn't it? Yeah, because the content... Oh, the content starts up there and now the text is down there. Oh, well, it has the anchor. No, it's 1, 1. But the position is at negative. If I set this to 0, then it works more how I would think. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm starting to get a hang of it. So I guess we just need to keep this around in here even though it's never going to be used, but that's okay. Alright, so now let's put the scroll view, set it to 800. Oh, and the height would be... I think I'll set it to the bottom. Of the visible area. Why is it doing that? Because my pivot's not at the bottom, so I want to set this to 0. Okay, that makes sense. And I guess the width might as well just stretch across. So to do that, I would do anchor 0 to 1. Okay, so does that work? Not exactly. Hey, Alfie Gamer, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? Hey, Iceboy, glad you could make it too. How are you? Just messing around with the UI again, but I think I got the hang of it now. I'm pretty sure. So why is this grayed out? Because values are driven by the scroll rect. Oh, I'm messing with this. Oh, okay. Yeah, didn't mean to do the scroll bar. Oops. I was trying to mess with the scroll view itself, but I think I messed it up. Okay, so how would I want it to be... I want it to just stretch that, and then anchors. Set it back to 16. That's too big. What was it before? Looks fine. Glad to hear you guys are both good. What's your favorite game that I've created? It's a hard one. The first one that jumps to mind is one of the first games I made that I really liked was The Reaper's Dog. I don't know if it would be my favorite, all things considered, but I've always been proud of that one. Okay, so yeah, this is it. What's going on there? Oh, okay, it just stretches. Actually, I don't know what was going on there, but whatever. Okay, so I think I did fix my little mess up right there. So what I wanted to do is have this stretch. So I just set this to 0 and 0. Okay, and the height, well, that's too much. how's the game coming along? Pretty good. Yeah, we're just working on the lobby UI, just starting on it. Okay, so we'll do something like this, and then we can have like the ready button up here that will always be visible. Probably since we have so much going on, we shouldn't have this text take up so much room. Let's move it, something like that. And then I guess we could be even better and not have a hard-coded height, and then, because that way if the screen size changes. What I want to do here is I would set it also to stretch vertically, so that, and then the top, change it to, I don't know, 160. So now it'll always be 160 pixels from the top. That's probably the best way to do it. Any tips for game development? We're going to start coding a game. Well, it's kind of broad, but I would say just try to start and make something small to, I guess, learn the ropes. And then as you get more confident, you can try and do bigger projects. Okay, so obviously we don't have scroll right now because this fits the entire area. But yeah, I think this is starting to be what I need. Okay. So I guess what I want to do is have a content area for the player slots. That way I can rearrange them easily if I need to. Let me see. Well, I don't really need this whole panel, but there's not like an easy way to create just a rect transform, which is kind of annoying. Okay, so this will be the player slots. Okay, so we'll just have this, I don't know, well, let's put a bit of an inset, I don't know, 16, oh, that's the top. We won't have anything on here because I'm gonna put a layout controller, so vertical layout group. Okay, so padding, well, I guess we'll put padding in this so I don't have to do it in each of the other slots. So let's just have, I don't know, 16 pixels around each edge, and we'll have 16 in between each. The child alignment should be upper center, and we'll want child to control the height. I'm not sure if we want those, so okay, and so my width, I want to stretch. Oh, I think my height is actually controlled by the children, so yeah, I'll need to get back on that. I always forget how that works. Okay, so this rect transform has nothing in it yet, so. Okay, so what did I want to have for the slot? So I need to have a type, a connected state, a username, the player's team. Then I need to be able to have buttons to either kick a player and transfer them to a different slot. And then I need to have ready status. So yeah, there's quite a bit here. I guess I'm just ordering there, doesn't matter. Okay, so the reason I was thinking is, do I want to try and put it all on one line? I think that might not be a good idea. Okay, so let's have one line that's just a bunch of data about like their state and then the username, and then the next line would have their team if you're loading from a save file. And then the last line will have some buttons you can press to control that slot. Alright, so this is a bit more complicated than normal. And I guess I'll just design one here and then I'll probably turn it into a prefab so that the game will just instantiate more as needed. That will... well, we'll get to that problem. It comes. I've never tried to... like, the UI is kind of weird in Unity. Or not weird, but different than most other systems because the order of these siblings actually matters, because you can see when I move these around, it changes where they're placed. I've never tried to edit that in a script, but I'm sure it must be possible. But anyway, let's just okay, this is just a rect transform, so I'm going to duplicate it to make things easy. And I'll just call this slot 0. Oh yeah, and I don't need... okay, so I actually want the slot to... okay, so I guess this would have a vertical layout group. And the child controls the height. Yeah, so upper left. We'll worry about the padding. And I guess the width, I want... I kind of want the width to expand across, so I need to add a layout element and tell it that I have flexible width, I think. If I do that, well... okay, for some reason I still have negative width here. Okay, we'll have to play around with that. It's still, like I said, trying to get a handle on this. Why don't we actually design this outside of the scroll bar, just so I don't have to deal with all that yet. I don't know if that really helps much. Okay, so, but anyway, this will definitely have a vertical layout group. And then inside here we'll have more. Oops. So this would be the, I guess the status row. Which will have a horizontal layout group. And then we'll have a bunch of icons on here. Children, control their width. And we'll put it middle left. Let's just add some spacing between them. Okay, so I guess first we'll be ready. Trying to decide, do I want to have a little icon for this, or then I have to actually make art, but it's not really a huge deal. Probably that would be better. Although I guess we'll need a... well, you would click if you're ready up here, so that's no big deal. Let's, I guess if I wanted to be really lazy, I could just have them be colored squares, but that's a raw image. Okay, so it has no source. Let's just set it to... okay, I do have a check mark. I don't have like a not ready icon. Let's just create one real quick. I guess I don't really know how big I want it to be, but liquid deal. Let's just make 32 by 32, I guess. So ready will just be yellow, or I guess green would make more sense. I don't really have something for the UI yet. Oops, sorry for knocking that. Okay, I don't think I can create from inside a sprite, so I guess we'll go in here. Okay, of course I had to compile right as I'm trying to create a file. Okay, now it's done, but now I have to rename this. Okay, I guess it's in the wrong folder too, but why don't I just call it UI? The UI will basically just be 2D images, so I'll just call them UI sprites. Well, they're not really going to be sprites, so UI images. And like I said, for some reason it selected the script folder. And I'll just make another lobby folder. Okay, so this will be ready, status, okay, I'll just call it ready status yes, and then I'll make a red one, which will be no. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Will be sRGB. Don't really need bitmaps. And since these are sprites, well, we might want to do point, but this doesn't really matter. So, yeah, we want 2D and UI. Okay, this is the number of pixels per unit on screen. I don't think that actually matters for the UI, but it matters for sprites. So we'll just leave it how it is. Okay, so now I have that. Can I just add that to here? It's not showing up because the width is set to 0. And the width here is negative 32 because it's inherited. The content has a vertical layout, but I want this to actually expand to fill everything, so child controls their own width. Does that? Okay, but yeah, that actually works, but now this width is set to 0 because it thinks it has no nothing inside of it. Okay, so let me see. This is vertical, and then this slot is also vertical. Oops. Okay, so now this actually has width. That has width. Okay, so now we can actually see it. Trying to see. So this doing upper center. So maybe I should just do upper left. Yeah, that's probably a better idea. So this text, if it wants to be centered, can do something. Well, I would just have to have it expand. Okay, so if I expand, set force expand to width, then everything will take up full space. Okay, so yeah, that's what I always forget about. Yeah, so I can set this back. Well, it actually doesn't really matter now that I have force expand. I'll just leave it how it is. Then player slots. So I want everything to expand to the full width as well. And so now this thing takes up the whole space. But why is this icon stretched? This, oh, I guess just because it's height. Let me see. Okay, so now I'm having a stencil. It won't let me check out other information. Oh, right, it's down at the bottom. So I actually want to see the layout properties. Okay, so it has no min width and height, but it has 32 preferred width. But for some reason, it's not being set here. If I set 32, it does work, but I want it to automatically set to the image. Maybe it's because, oh, I need to click the children set their height, I think. Yeah, so there we go. Okay, so now I have that icon. That's ready status. So now I'll need, if they're connected. Well, that can also kind of fit here. So we'll have like ready. Yeah, because if they're not connected, they're obviously not ready. So okay. So we'll have blue. Maybe I'll actually want this blue one to be. I need to be no because it's connected but not ready. Or actually, no, this should be yellow. That makes more sense. And then red is just not connected. Disconnected, and I guess we'll have a blue version for if it's an AI because it's like not even taken into account. Okay, so that is good. And so now I'll just want to have the type of player and then I'll put its username. So for type, I guess we'd want to have like a drop down menu or something. I think that that's already available. Yeah, drop down. Okay, so it has a width and height, but okay, yeah, so the options I can set there, but okay, I'm just trying to see why. I guess let's look and see what the layout properties. So it has preferred width and height of 10, but if I scroll in here, something is not showing up. I think I just need to give a better preferred width and height, so I need to Be nice if this would expand to fill. Okay, well, if I do that, it expands to fill all space. Let's actually set. Okay, before I do that, that actually work? Okay, yeah, it does. But I think maybe the reason this isn't working. Oh no, it has 3 options. Let's play and see what it looks like. Okay, it's not showing up. You would think that it would like try to fit the largest choice here. Okay, well, let's turn this on and see how it looks with that. It's not showing. Okay, well, obviously, for some reason, it doesn't match the text inside of it, which is kind of weird. Maybe I need to add my own layout. Okay, so that's kind of weird. Okay, so I can't use a horizontal layout group. That doesn't work. Seems like there should be some way to do this. But maybe I've messed it up now. I don't even know what this template... Okay, that's the choice. Okay, well the thing is that this should not actually be part of the horizontal layout. If I do this ignore element, maybe it will not try to put it in the horizontal layout. Okay, so that kind of works. Although I'd rather have this arrow be at the end. So what I should do is have the label expand. And also, okay, well, it's already centered. And then I guess I want some padding on the left, but not so much on that side. Not 16. Oh, do I want a little bit? Yeah, I think that does look better. Okay, so now if I take off flexible width, it should shrink to just be the size that's needed. No. Okay, so I want this to shrink to just be the size that's needed for the drop-down menu, but it doesn't seem to work that way. But I guess I'll just go ahead and add some options here. So player, AI, and then we'll have spectator. Okay, maybe it's just taking up so much room because there's nothing else to take up the extra room in the horizontal layout, but I told it to force the children to expand. So if I add in just a text. Okay, and then set this layout element to force or flexible width. Okay, no, that doesn't work. Okay, so flexible width is enabled, but I don't want it to be. And it says it's coming from the horizontal layout group. I guess I can override it, can't I? Okay, well that does what I want. Let's check. Okay, but it cuts off spectator. I'm surprised that it doesn't like automatically set its width to be the largest string in here, but maybe it's not that smart. Yeah, because when I don't have this at all, then it just like doesn't have any width at all. No, it's not like I'm adding any text here, so maybe I should just bite the bullet and set the width myself. Okay, well, I would set it by setting preferred width and height in here. Okay, so the arrow, I need to adjust the anchor. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Yeah, now oh, it still doesn't fit because the text. Well, I guess I can just turn this back on and it will at least position the text correctly. Okay. It seems weird that I had to edit this default thing so much. I'm trying to think if I did something wrong. I don't know. Because yeah, this is like a built-in Unity thing, but it doesn't actually deal with dimensions very well. Okay, so if we select none, we'd want to like say you're gonna kick a player if they're connected here. Or even, should we even let you select none? I'm trying to think of an actual reason. because you could just like change the number of slots. Yeah, I can't really think of a reason why you'd want to, because instead we would just have a way to remove this slot and then it would shift everything up. Okay, and I guess we'll just default to an AI. And then you can set player. Or, no, yeah, we'll default to a player. That sounds better. Okay, so anyway, this text was just for testing, but this should actually be a text field because you'll be able to reserve the username. Probably we should have like a checkbox. Alright, but if they're connected, we'd want to just... Okay, I'm trying to think of the best way to display this. So if they're connected, we really just want to show the name, but if they're not connected, we want to be able to lock it for a specific... or reserve it for a specific player. Especially if we're loading from a save file. So I guess the best way to do that is to just have an empty object. This will be username. And this will actually be a rect transform. And we'll want to add... Okay, well the simple one is just a text for the username. The username. Okay, why is it white? Oops, not what I wanted to do. Okay, and I guess this username will pretty much take up the rest of the... Oh, I didn't want to add text component to it. Okay, that's what I did wrong. This will be layout element, and we'll have flexible width, and this will take up the rest of the row. Okay, and I want to create a text under it. So this will just be connected. That's fine. Centered. So why is that positioned so strangely? Okay, that works fine. The height really doesn't matter, but oh, this is set to 0 because I need to set a preferred height if I wanted. I'll set to 32 to match the icon. Okay, and so we'll want another rect transform for disconnected because this one will be a little bit more involved. And I'll hide this one for now. So this will have no layout element, but it will have a horizontal layout group. And child controls both. And so I want to have a checkbox or toggle. What's the deal with this? Okay, so I'm trying to figure out why this is centered here and not here because there's nothing else in the horizontal layout group. The middle left is this position. Okay, maybe I just need to add something else. So we'll have a text field, our input field. And this will be, I know I'll need a layout element and I'll need to set this to have flexible width to take up the rest. Okay, we don't really need it to expand height. Okay, what is the layout property here? It has no preferred width, so really it should be squished completely. Because this has flexible width, so it should take up the rest of space. Because if I do that, it just takes over everything. So I'm trying to figure out why this is working strangely. Because for one, it's not starting here. Oh, maybe it's because this position is strange. Username. Oh yeah, that's it. So I just need to set this anchored here. And then the width should be the same. As my parent. Which I guess in order to do that, I'll need to have a horizontal layout group. And of course, expand width. Okay, so now what's the deal with this? Because I was expecting the text field to go up to the toggle. Yeah, it still has no preferred width. The text field should, yeah, it has flexible width, so it should expand to fill. First of all, I should rename this to reserved. I guess we can do reserved 4. Sometimes it all fixes when you go into play mode. No. Ooh, I just forgot something kind of important. We should have a chat. Okay. Oops. Did the wrong thing. Yeah, so that'll be kind of interesting. In the chess game, which I worked on before, other players could make suggestions for settings they wanted by just clicking on something, and then the server would tell you that that player had suggested it. But with more players, because the chess game only had 2, but since we have more here, that gets a little bit infeasible. So I think I'll just have chat because that serves the same purpose, really. Okay, still. Why did the scroll bars just randomly appear? Okay, well, they're gone now. Okay, I thought I had these layouts figured out. I'm not sure why. Okay, so how come it takes full space when I move that away? Yeah, sometimes it's just not intuitive, but yeah, I have that. So I thought that we'd want to have child force expand because it would mean that the children would take up all the extra space, but it doesn't actually seem to make a difference. Okay, so yeah, I knew that this had no width, so I was kind of surprised that it was showing anything. So if I wanted it to position automatically, I would have... Let's see, well, the label doesn't really even need to be part of this, now that I think about it. The label can go outside, can't it? Is it? Oops, I want that to be here. Nope. Oh, come on. There we go. So, but the toggle still has no preferred width. I guess I'll just give it one. Okay, and I guess I should add some spacing. Okay, so now it's starting to work. Maybe there was just something weird going on with the toggle. I don't know. Because now if I set flexible width... Oh, it still doesn't work how I thought it would. I thought when I set flexible width, then it would expand to fill the extra space. Okay, also I should do that so it's centered in the middle. We're getting there, but I don't know why the spacing is being weird. So if I turn this... Okay, why does that work? Because I would have thought that it wouldn't... Yeah, it's not trying to expand. Okay, so maybe force expand... I don't know exactly what that does. It's so strange. So... Okay, I'm typing, but the text doesn't show up. Maybe it's too small. So input field, let's just set the preferred height to 24 and see if the text will display now. Okay, so why can't I see the text? Something weird again. It's also just the 100. So preferred height is 100 because it wants to expand, but I think okay. Yeah, so I need to set the height here so that the child is sets the height. Okay, I'm gonna set preferred width. I don't really want to expand the whole thing. That seems a bit too much. Maybe it needs to be 30 to be for the text to be visible. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, so it's gonna take a while to master this, I think, because I don't know, it's just a lot of those little buttons aren't super intuitive, so you've got to kind of play around with it. Okay, I'd like to have just a text here for the slot number. Again, I don't really care that it doesn't have to look super pretty right now. I just want to get something working. Okay, so we finished the first row. So if I create another one, it does place it underneath correctly, which is good to see. But I actually want this to be, I guess, I don't know, play row, which would show information about that player's team if you're loading from a save file, but we don't do that right now, so I think I'll kind of ignore it, because yeah, I would need to print out information about the monsters. Well, let's not completely ignore it. We'll just have a text right now. Like, we probably want to do a monster image later, but for now, we'll just do something like this. Also, I'll add some padding to the left just so that there's a little indentation like that. So yeah, it goes something like that. Well, let me set my size. Where is my height set? Oh, it's just because of my preferred height, so I need to override it if I wanted it to be different. Why did it do that? So okay, so for one, it says my preferred height is, oh, I accidentally clicked preferred width. Okay, so it's trying to just expand to fill the size. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we'll just have something like that for now. We'll just create names because we don't have We don't have like icons for the monsters yet. And then the last, oh, I don't want to create the whole thing or duplicate the whole thing. So the last row is a bunch of controls that you can do for this slot. So we'd have remove, kick, disconnect, things like, or disconnect and kick are the same. Remove, click, transfer, things like that. I guess also setting this to an AI is the same thing as kicking a player, but so let's see, actions. Okay, so I'll have remove, and the way to get a button to resize to match its text is to have another horizontal layout group, and you set child controls width and height, and then you just add some padding. And if I want a specific height, and then I just, oh, it's already set to center. Oh, I need to change this to middle center. I guess we'll add a little more padding just so it looks a bit better. Okay, so we have remove, kick, player. Yeah, and then I want to be able to move to a different slot. So I'm trying to think how I want to do that. I guess I could just have a drop down that says move to a specific slot. You got transfer to a different slot, add or remove. Team if loading from a file. Okay, so far I've gotten everything. And the other option is we could just press a button and then then another window would pop up that would show, or that would ask you what slot you wanted to move to, but oh, did I not change this text? I thought I did. This should be remove slot and then kick player and then transfer player to slot. Okay, so maybe this should just be text. Again, I want it outside. And then I'll copy I don't have to figure it out again. I'll just copy this drop down menu. Okay, so now I'm going to need to fill up this drop-down menu with a number of slots, but I know I can do that. Let's just add, well, I guess the first option would be and then we'd have, I don't know, slot 1, slot 2, so on and so forth, but Both of these should be nothing for now. Okay, so I think this is done. I don't really want these to have to force to expand, so I'm fine with there being empty space right there. So it still works in play mode. Okay, and I guess the last thing I should check to make sure that I can duplicate this. Okay, so I need to add some spacing. Let's add a bit more so it's more obvious. Yeah, this takes up a lot of space, so I probably will want to condense it in the final version, but I don't really care that much right now. Okay, so yeah, that's slot 1. And I could just duplicate these. Oh, it's starting to... Probably, is there a maximum height for this? Preferred height. If I duplicate this again, does it change? Okay, preferred height. Oh, that's the wrong thing. No, it just keeps going, but for some reason the height doesn't match how much space we actually have. Which is infinite. Maybe this content. Okay, so yeah, it sticks to that. I actually want the height to be able to expand as needed. So how would I do that? So my preferred height should equal that of content inside. Oh, it does. Right, because it was 400 and then now it's 280. But how come... Okay, so the height here is still 300. If I set it to 400, would it work? Yes, that works. So I guess this viewport needs to... Okay, so it needs to match the height of the content inside. Okay, there we go. If I just create more of these. So what should happen? I thought the whole point of this is that the viewport would continue to expand. So I really shouldn't have it stretch. Oh no, the viewport needs to stay here. It's the content that should expand. Okay, I think in order to get this to work, it won't automatically. So I've got to, I think I'll have to set this value whenever we change something, because in order to set the height by itself, I'd have to use a layout thing here, but I don't think it will work. But why wouldn't it? It's just the... Okay, but it still lets me set that. So I want to do child controls height. But when that happens, it just sets this even though the preferred height. I guess because it knows that it doesn't have any more space. So the only way to have this viewport or to set the height to be bigger than the viewport is to just do it manually, I think. We just want to always set this to the preferred height. Or wait, can I do a content size fitter? Wait, I think that's exactly what this is for. And so verticals would go to preferred size. Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot about that. Then the width we don't mess with because we actually should stretch to match the viewport. So I do something like okay. So now when I delete these, the size should update automatically, and it does. Cool. Okay, so I guess this slot, or this text I can just change to be layer slots. Okay, and we shouldn't be able to remove this last slot. Also, you won't be able to kick yourself, so I guess that kind of fixes that problem. Oh, also I need to have a leave button, I just realized. Oops, that's not what I want to do. I thought I was on a new line. Okay, so leave button. I don't know what that display was supposed to be talking about. Okay, but we'll just go one thing at a time. So I'll just take care of these lobby slots. I think we'll work on the system for this. And then probably mods. And then last we'll do is oops, I thought no was supposed to be red. And then the last one we'll do is sorry, remind me blank. The last thing we'll do are the save files, yeah. Okay. Also, there's this cool new thing that you can save a preset. That way you don't have to enter in the same values all the time. So I'm just gonna have this preset be for UI sprites. And then for both of these, I can just set the preset to UI sprites and everything is set appropriately. I don't know if I complained about it on stream before, but yeah, it was annoying to have to do that. You can even set this as the default for texture importer, but I don't know if I want to do that. I just want just sprites to be have these settings. Okay, let me see. We have about 10 minutes, but well, okay, well, let's just do a little work. Okay, so right now the lobby controller is, oh, we already have an event section. Well, we will want this, but we'll want to have an events thing, but I guess that was left over. Okay, so yeah, the old lobby was really messy because it was like super hacky just to get things to work. But now that we have the actual lobby, we'll try to set things up better. Also, probably the lobby parameters. Do I want these to be set by the lobby? Or the lobby should actually read from these and then like set default values. So the lobby, are these already set up? Oops. Okay, yeah, they're set up in the game, so that's what I was going to check. But sometime during the create lobby phase, we'll want to set up some default values, I think. Where is it? Setup lobby. Oh, I guess I'll just make a new class for this. So it will be initial lobby params. This will be kind of just a logic class. And I guess, okay, I guess I could have generated this so I don't have to type all this information out. But we'll need that, and then we'll need the flow state. And I guess, well, we need the input state because we'll want to set the lobby parameters, so one slot already has our username. Okay, so let's see. Public void set initial state. So if the flow state is in create mode, then we are actually in charge of setting up the lobby parameters. So first of all, we'll want to remove a lot of information that's not needed. So for instance, slots should be cleared, and then we'll just want to add one slot. Oh, I guess I do have it pulled up already. So the type would be a player, which is us. Username is the input state.username. Or actually, I could probably just use what's in the local connection. That's probably safer. Okay, local connection dot username, and then what else? Okay, we don't need to care about any of the other things, I guess, except I'd set is guest to false. Okay, and then we'll clear the mods. And no save file. Okay, and yeah, we don't know about the map yet. And I guess the random seed will set to some random value. Oops. Unity engine random. Okay, there's a way to get an integer, so we'd want something between the minimum and the maximum value. Is it not like that? Random does not contain. Oh, I thought it did. Oh, I don't need to do a negative there. So the random seed should probably be an unsigned integer. Not that it makes a whole lot of difference, but oh no, that's gonna confuse things. Oops, where'd the lobby parameter? I guess I closed it by accident. So this can just stay an integer, but when we display it, then we'll change it to an unsigned integer. And that way I don't have to deal with that kind of confusion. Yeah, so we just set this stuff, and then I guess if we're joining from any other mode, then we would really just... Oh, this is a little different. If we're joining from any other mode, then we would just clear that. And we won't set any slots because we need to grab that information from the server at some point. Actually, well, it doesn't really matter because yeah, we can just leave whatever we have in here actually if we're not in the create state. Because if we're not in the create state, then or if we're not the host, then we would, at the very beginning, we would just get the lobby parameters from the server. So yeah, let's do it this way actually. So if local connection is host is false, then we'll want to throw an error. It doesn't really cause any problems, but do not call if not hosting. Okay, so I guess I don't need the flow state after all. Okay, so anyway, set up lobby controller. We'll want to resolve this new class. Initial lobby parameters. And then, I guess the flow manager, when it's just about to exit, I'll just call that initialize state function. So here when we're about to exit to the lobby. So if, well, we don't have the local connection, so okay, let's just make this a little simpler. And we'll always call it, but then if we're not the host, we just won't do anything. Yeah, because this state, or this class doesn't actually have information about if it's a host or not. So yeah, if host. Okay, and then like when we enter in the lobby, we would either, if we're the host, we would first send this data to the server. If we're not the host, we'll ask the server for the data. Yeah, and then once that's done, then we load into the interface. Okay, so maybe we'll actually need to have like a loading thing here, and then just hide all this information until that's done. Oops, don't want to duplicate. Okay, compiling. Loading is probably the wrong term. It's actually gathering from the server, but yeah, I think I better stop now, go get a bite to eat. But yeah, I should be back. Well, tomorrow we might have something going on, so I might not stream. But right now I am planning to, so I should be back here around noon Eastern time as normal. Feel free to follow me here on Twitch or on my Twitter to get notified when I go live. I also have a YouTube channel if you'd like to see how the game used to look or just catch up. You can check out all my videos there. And finally, I have a Discord server if you'd like to chat with me anytime. I'd love to see you there. I'll put links in chat, or you can check out the video description if you're watching from YouTube. But yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks everybody for coming by, and thanks for chatting. Offie Gamer and Iceboy, it's nice to have you today. But yeah, and I hope you all have a great day, and maybe a weekend if I don't see you tomorrow, but we'll see. Alright, well, bye-bye.